Hey guys, welcome back to the channel for a different type of video today. We're going to be looking at my best trail running shoes of 2021. And boy, have I bought a lot. I've tallied up more than £1,500 worth of spend. Bearing in mind, this isn't even half the shoes I've bought this year. These are just the ones that have worked for me. So we're going to go in order of least used to most used. We're going to go through what I like about the shoe, what I use them for, and what I would do to improve them. As with all trail running shoes, it is a personal thing. I live near the North York Moor, so while I do get on some hard packed trails, I also need my trail running shoes to cover mud. I'm a fan of a 4 to 6mm drop and a roomier toe box, but hopefully this will give you some ideas over which ones you should buy. Okay, let's begin with the Adidas Terrex Speed Ultra. I use this shoe more for speed work than anything else. It's light, it's responsive, and it's a really fun shoe. Works best on hard-packed trails. You can use it on rock as well. It's got that continental grip on the bottom, so really great for that. It's got an 8mm drop, a little bit higher than I would like, and I think that goes back to its road running roots. The boost in the heel and the light strike in the midsole works really well together. It's a high-end shoe, very expensive for that, but you can feel the quality in the build. What I would change is probably around the anklet area. It rubs a bit for me, so as an ultra shoe, I think it's a little bit uncomfortable, if I'm honest. And if you could just get slightly deeper lugs, I'd probably be able to get away with this on some of my moor runs as well. As it stands, the lugs are just a little bit too shallow for some of the muddier courses. But certainly one to buy if you want a responsive, light, poppy ride. Next trail running shoe is the Scarpa Ribelle Run. Best use, mountains, hard packed trails, surface mud is fine, deep mud maybe not so much so. This super gum compound on the bottom is fantastic, sticks really well to rock, so any mountainous courses like that I'd work well for. You've got a great toe bumper at the front for kicking rocks. The overlays seem to wrap around your foot really nicely, and it's such a fantastically protective shoe just from these plastic overlays around the bottom. The midsole's very thick as well, so you don't feel anything under your foot, but it's also quite responsive. It's got a quick lace system in like a booty style, which feels really good on, but I found over long use caused a bit of knee pronation, which I tend to struggle with. I spoke to other users of the shoe who loved it like I did, but did just find it a little bit too flexible in this upper area, and the lack of a lockdown has been an issue. I think this is a 5mm drop, which is about spot on for me personally. But the main issue for me was the fit and the sizing. I had to go half a size up to a 9, which was a bit too big around the upper. I couldn't get a lockdown. The 8.5 was way too small. I could feel my toes in the bottom, my pinky toe was rubbing. But if you want a shoe with really good grip that can handle a little bit of all terrain, and certainly great on mountainous with that protection and comfort, and even the longer distances, this will be an ultra shoe for me. Definitely worth a look in. We now move on to a completely new shoe to the market. It's the first carbon plated trail running shoe, and it is from the North Face. It's the Flight Vectiv. I really do like this shoe. There's just some slight reservations around the booty style. Best use, it was made for UTMB, so hard packed trails, mountainous terrain, but you don't want to be on mud, which is obviously a little bit of an issue here in England. The Vibram outsole is really sticky. It's just the lug depth is maybe a little bit too shallow. I really like the way the rocker system and carbon plate interact. They seem to push you forward and project you on in the run. I'm going to be using these for speed work, park runs, anything where I want to really push my outer limits of speed. I think these are the only shoe out of all these that we're reviewing today that actually give you some extra above the rest of the market. But that does come with a little bit of a cost. The price for starters, I think, is around 180, 160 pounds, so very expensive. And I'm also not a fan of the booty style. Getting a lockdown in this shoe is a little bit of a struggle at times. I've half sized down just because I found the fit better in an 8 rather than 8.5, and the lacing does push a little bit against the bridge of my foot, and it hasn't caused me issues so far. but I can feel it. So in the longer runs, I don't know if that's going to be a problem. But this shoe's been worn by some amazing athletes setting some cracking at fastest known times. Jonathan Albon recently wore it to victory in France. If you're after something to give you a little bit of an edge and you mainly run on hard packed trails, this is definitely worth a look in. And in at number 4 is a shoe I've had more than 100 miles in now. It's the Hoka Speedgoat 4. I've got mine in wide fit. That's a personal fit preference, but this shoe does just about anything. I've raced a 48-mile ultra in it. I've used it quite often on easy days where I really want to save my legs. The outsole is Vibram and the lugs work very well on multiple terrain. Hard packed is probably best and rock. You wouldn't want to take it too much in the mud in winter. The only thing I will say, the midsole is very stacked up. Yes, it's only 4mm in drop, but just the pure depth of that cushioning can be a small issue on stability for some people. I found it okay because I felt like the wider fit just seemed to anchor in, but I can feel that if I was on a technical course, I would definitely struggle in the Speedgoat 4, but 10 out of 10 for comfort and when you really want to save your legs. Okay guys, we're now down to my top 3. This is a tough decision for me, but what we're going to do is I'm going to pick the shoe very unfairly that I've worn the least because I've had it the least amount of time. That is the VJ Spark. Cracking little trail running shoe. I've already done a first impressions video the other week on this. I'm really excited about it. Works very well on every type of terrain. This is the big thumbs up for me. I have such varied runs. I can be mud one day, hard packed trail the next, slippery wet rock the week later. You never know what you're going to come across. And this butyl rubber grip on the bottom sticks to anything. It is by far the best grip on the market in my opinion, and it's about the only one that handles wet rock well. Now that they've got these, I think it's 5mm lugs they've got on these, which is a mil thicker than the Max and a mil smaller than their iRock. It's the perfect combination for me between comfort and grip. So I'll use this on almost anything, and it's really roomy in the toe box, which is an issue with some of the other VJ shoes. I love the fact that it's now got a gusseted tongue. Again, that used to move around, so they've made some real improvements and strides forward. As for what I'd change in the shoe, a little bit more cushioning or a slight redesign in the heel maybe, because I do feel that rubs slightly on the Achilles, and likewise maybe a little bit more cushioning just in the anklet area so that that doesn't rub as well. But other than that, I think they're really onto a winner. We're down to my top 2 in the best trail running shoes of 2021, chaps. I don't know how to make the decision here, but I think number 2, we're going to go with the Salomon Ultra Glide. The reason being, it's less versatile than the Scott Supertrac RC. I keep reaching for this shoe day in, day out. If I'm not quite sure what to pick and it's not too muddy outside, I always default to this. It's just such an easy ride. The name Ultra Glide is perfect. It describes this shoe down to a T. The grip is good on the bottom. I've not really had any slipping issues. I have noticed it wear down on the outer, but that's my stride pattern. I'm over 100 miles in it now. And the cushioning just doesn't seem to be letting up. It's as comfortable today as it was when I first opened the box. Like I say, I'll use this on easy days, long run days, as long as I'm not coming towards mud or too technical a course. This is the shoe I reach for. I've done tons of 5 to 8 milers in this thing. And what's really impressive as well is it's got quite a good ride for a high cushioned shoe, and it comes down to a bit of a rocker system. It's a 4 or 5mm drop, I think. Massive fan of that as well, and the lacing system is superb. It's one of the only lacing systems on the market that uses a quick lace that I think really works and gets a good lockdown. So big thumbs up to Salomon from me. They've done an amazing job of introducing themselves into the comfort side of the market. The only thing I would change would probably change the design of the shoe. So you probably shouldn't do it, but I'd maybe strip it back a little bit on the weight side if at all possible, and just get slightly beefier lugs so it can handle mud better. So you've seen me top 6. My number 1 trail running shoe of the year wasn't even released this year, but I've got to mention it. It's the Scott Supertrac RC. I wear this shoe constantly. I keep coming away from it for reasons I'll explain in a second, but then I keep coming back to it because it's so bloody comfortable. You can wear this shoe on almost any terrain as well. Again, that's another massive thumbs up from me. I use it on the moors, I use it in fell races, trail races, hard packed. I used it in the Three Peaks race. The grip on the bottom was originally made for Transvolcania, so it handles almost anything. The only thing it doesn't do very well is wet rock, which a lot of shoes have the same issue with, and the fit is fantastic. Got really good room in the toe box, and the upper secures so well. It's nicely padded around the heel and the anklet area, so the comfort is fantastic. I could use this in an ultra marathon with absolutely no issues, and it's just such a high-end design. I'm in over 100 miles, I think, in this one now, and there's no sign of wear whatsoever. My only reservations with the shoe are how it handles the slippier courses. That outsole, while it's got really nice beefy lugs, it lacks a little bit in its stickiness. So I think if they could get the butyl rubber of VJ's Spark and stick that on here, it would be one hell of a beastly shoe. Definitely my favourite so far this year. So that's my top 7 trail running shoes of the year. Yes, there are a lot of brands missing here, but that's not because the shoes aren't any good, it's just because they don't suit me personally. So just a really quick recap on why I think you should use these shoes. What for? The Supertrac RC is just a complete all-rounder, as is the VJ Spark. If I was wanting easy days, you're going to be talking the Speedgoat 4 or the Salomon Ultra Glide. If you're wanting to really hit the next level in your speed work and get something back from your shoe, the Adidas Terrex Speed Ultra and the North Face Flight Vectiv are fantastic for that. And then of course you've got the Scarpa Ribelle Run. If you can get on with the sizing of Scarpa's shoes, these are a fantastic all-round shoe for any distance, mountainous terrain, and certainly hard-packed trails. But I'm also interested in what you're wearing. Hit me down in the comments, let me know what your favourite shoe of the year has been as well. Thank you so much for following along. We recently went over the 1,000 subscribers mark, so really appreciate that. Right guys, I shall catch you all later. Ta-ra.